Good game. Move, move, Nova. Now, move, ma'am. Hey, let's go. Great girl. Hello, viewer. Is he? Is that Hourglass? Can he do that? Is that shit? Should we call chess.com fair play team? Just wait. After enough violent crimes, shootings, test scores going down because you can't lock young people inside for a prolonged period of time. Be tough. Embrace change. We're human beings. You can't do that shit. Hey, man, we should try the hourglass thing. What if Luigi Mangione, right before he shot Brian Thompson, would have pulled out an hourglass? Hey, should I really do this shit? Is it really worth it? Fuck. Maybe he deserves it. No, he doesn't. What am I talking about? I shouldn't shoot people. Fine. Talked to a mom. Lost her kid to suicide. Boy. Dayton saying an hourglass could have saved my son's life. That's correct, ma'am. Sorry what happened to your son. Fuck, fine. Coldplay concert CEO affair. I think he's unfixable. I think Andy Byron's just a fucking idiot. Sympathy. It's so hard. It gets lonely at the top. Retire, bitch. That's how capitalism works. When I was in corporate, according to capitalism, I deserved about $70,000 a year, and the bonus I was owed, which the company withheld, to pay me a court. An entry-level worker, according to capitalism, deserves $15-ish an hour. And the CEO gets the big bucks to be the face and make very important decisions that can make or break the company. If you don't want that, if that's too much stress that you have to cheat on your wife and humiliate your family, teenage kids, whose dad's in the news, like I said, retire, bitch. Use your millions to get a good therapist. demote if you love what you do. Don't cheat on your wife at a concert. Now I'm ranting. That's not a loneliness problem. That's an ego issue. And I'm not acting like I'm perfect or morally superior. Well, I am to him. I'm simply stating a regular man who is not in the news, on podcasts, probably on Money Talks, would go, if I'm going to cheat, how about I go to a bar? Let's get drunk. Limited text messages. Yeah, Coldplay concert's risky. I wouldn't do that shit. You're the CEO and your face has been in all those places I mentioned. You're a moron. You're an absolute moron. But even morons, let's think logically. Frontal lobes, wake up. Frontal lobes, frontal. Yes, boss. Yeah. Frontal lobe. Should I do this shit? Do you love her? Not really. Do you love your kids? Yeah. Wait 60 seconds and then stop bothering the frontal lobes because we're busy trying to figure out real issues. My frontal lobes are sassy today. Okay. I got the Coldplay tickets. 60 seconds. TikTok. I don't even need my frontal lobes. That's a stupid thing to do. And that's why I use an hourglass to slow my brain down after speed chess. I'm going to walk my dog to the gas station to get a Pepsi. Keeping with the trend of mental health, I like that. Dayton, what does junk food, sugar, and dehydration have to do with good mental health? I'll tell you. Thanks for asking. What's that dude's name? Joey Chestnut. He's a competitive eater. You eat that many fucking hot dogs. 41 years old. You definitely don't have room in your stomach for grapes. Dude eats hot dogs. Exclusively hot dogs. And to be that good, I'm assuming, I was talking to my granny about this. How do you even get into this profession? Because chess is something where, unless you're at the very top, you make no money. I'm sure that's the same way or worse. If you're not Joey Chestnut, you're just eating hot dogs. Maybe you get some free hot dogs, but you're not building a house. But my point is, that dude, to my knowledge, doesn't have any major health issues. And the guy who was prominent when I was a kid, I believe his name was Kobayashi. He was the best hot dog eater when I was a kid. And I don't think he had major health issues when he got older because he's not worried. Look how happy he is. He likes the hot dogs. One of Joey's quotes when asked if he would retire, I don't know what the prime years for this are. I'm assuming the younger, the better. You're doing a lot to your body. He said, I'm doing this till the wheels fall off. I'm eating hot dogs until the wheels fall off. Now, some business people who don't like what they do, but they're addicted to the game, have heart attacks at age 40. But they eat right, they sleep enough, and they have access to great psychiatrists and dietitians. Yet Joey's thriving, and they're having heart attacks. I rest my case. Don't stress before you resort to meds. If people tell you you're weird, what are the meds doing? You need me to go on meds. Why? What problem are the meds solving? Dayton, you say outrageous shit sometimes. Fuck you. Okay, give me an example. Well, Dayton, you seem entirely normal. You make sense, but then you start talking faster. And then for a week, you turn your phone off. And we can't get a hold of you. I'm napping. I just took a 10-minute nap before my chess, so I look and feel good. My mom's diabetic. If she has an issue and my dad's traveling for work, which he rarely does, my phone will be on. Please let me know in advance. Okay, but some things like you're really opinionated about and you hurt people's feelings. What medication do you suggest? Lithium. Fuck lithium. I can't dunk a basketball anymore. And even if I hadn't slept in 4 days, I would look better. I would lift more weights at the gym. I would play chess better than with 15 hours of rest on lithium. So lithium's going to solve the problem. It's going to slow my brain down, turn me into a zombie. How about I just get a job where I don't have people tapping on my shoulder? I'm focused. I can defend myself, unlike corporate America. Adult entertainment, working in a casino, I can't do whatever I want. And I love my coworkers. My pit bosses are very kind. But on the rare occasion, very rare occasion, a guest gets upset. I can say something like, look, I just deal the cards. I gamble too, and I've been there. I'm not mad at you, but could you please step away and come back? You can't even say that anymore in some work environments. Oh no, he's angry. He's got problems. So I have a job that works for my brain. Instead of medications, I believe genetic mental illnesses are real. And I can't imagine I'm not somewhat neurodivergent. But I can offset most issues by being self-aware. And this is not the only thing, but it's my favorite. Isn't life perfect? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, except mental health advocates. Mental health advocates are not entitled to their own opinion if they care about their cause. He can't do that because I had this PowerPoint presentation, and this is actually what he should do. Fuck your PowerPoint presentation. I'm mentally healthy. And I would argue you're not that interested in helping. You're curing guilt or seeking attention. I want attention too, which is why I chose to play chess, debate my mental health. Think I'm an asshole. I have no criminal record. I'm 30 years old. Statistically speaking, if one has not committed crimes or been violent in any way, even verbally abusive, there's a very small chance that he or she will ever be. Now, it happens if drugs are mixed in and severe trauma is not dealt with appropriately. But it's so unlikely for someone in my shoes and at my age, even with a genetic mental illness, for me to go down a path that dark. So shut up, focus on my chess. We're worried about you. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And if you are, it's not your life. So we'll be back with a Pepsi and an agenda. And that agenda is to get a new peak bullet rating on chess.com before this weekend's over the board events. I will likely play in both. It's not like riding a bike. I took a break from chess and I already feel different over the board when I came back. I'm going to beat those people because I'm better than them, but I've lost to people. And sadly, I haven't even been close to people I was beating sometimes, or at least fighting till the end against before I took my break. So over the board every weekend. I'm young enough to where if I'm deprived of sleep from working at the casino, I like doing it, so at least I'm relaxed after. I'm alert. I'll be playing over the board every weekend until I reach 1800 USCF. Let's do it. While I'm gone, just carry on. Don't mourn. Rejoice every time you hear the sound of my voice. Just know that I'm looking down. You're smiling. And I feel it. Dang, so baby, don't feel no pain. Just smile back. Please admire American sensation and future of chess, Hans Niemann. Yeah, it's disgusting. And I'm a fan of the St. Louis Chess Club. It is disgusting. They're looking for a reason. And I worked in the corporate world. Don't do this. I'm speaking more about the chess mafia than St. Louis. It's their club. They can do whatever they want. But it is wrong. if not unpatriotic. He's not the only one to do that. He was blacklisted before that. They're looking for a reason to please the big dogs in chess. If the big dogs in chess don't want him around, well, first off, you risk people like me not wanting to be around you, which people like me are how people like you get attention because they don't care about you unless they already know how to play chess. So if Hans Niemann isn't welcome by Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, which it was ridiculous for Hikaru to be involved. I get it. It's ridiculous what happened to Niemann, but to involve Hikaru in it, I could see where Hikaru wouldn't like that. But still, you don't like Hans Niemann being around. I don't want to be around you. And that's why they're trying to keep him away or find a reason to, because it's not cool to say we're not inviting Hans because Magnus and others don't like him and we'd prefer them to be at our event. Pretty soon you might prefer Hans Niemann be at your event instead of them because they're getting old. But still, that's the future of chess. That's the next Bobby Fischer. What if Bobby Fischer wouldn't have been allowed to play chess? America has no chess history. I'm out. Be back with Pepsi. That's some funny stuff there. Let's go, Nose. Go. Ain't like granted, you wanna get to the bar, you get in it, it's gone. You keep on running down, hey, ain't like granted. You said it was about it, you know that wish you got. You try your best to hide, you'll have to ain't like. One day you're on a highway, next day you what you got. Most hate it when you fall. They'd rather see you fall. UPS in the elevator. You want? Booth knows. Go Booth. Booth. You wanted to do that. So, Booth. No, Booth. Booth, man. Booth. No car. Go Booth. Booth knows. Booth. What up? Booth. Oh, you're going to Booth. Let's go Booth. You know. Booth. Booth, Nova. Booth. You're going to chase it? Go Booth, let's go. Go Booth. Come here. Let's go Booth. Yes. Go Booth. Great job. This is my chess dog Nova. Love of my life and the reason I haven't broken 1600 over the board yet. See, I know. Oh, you're so pretty though. While walking, I changed my mind, which I reserve the right to change my mind as a content creator. I reserve the right to do whatever I want when I want and cancel plans, though I'm pretty reliable. Some streamers reminisce on the good old days before they were sponsored. Now I can't say that. Now I can't go here when I want to go here. I have obligations. Not me. I got a table games dealing license. I would deal cards even if I won the lottery. Is that a result of me not healing from past trauma? And I really just don't want commitment in any form? If you're a licensed therapist, I'd love to talk about it. I probably need to. But I don't think so. I think it just happened that way, and I like dealing cards. But the good news is I don't have to stream. Most of this is for documentation. Accuse me of cheating. Vladimir Kramnik, bring it on. Hans Niemann likes you, so I'm cool with you. But I know he's going to be getting suspicious. Sometimes when I'm really focused, I start hallucinating. I see Vladimir Kramnik right there, just holding a fish. Hey, yeah, get it, stockfish, Vladdy. Okay, I don't know you. I never met you. Get away from my phone booth. And he's just out there going, fish. Gosh. So, almost all my games are on my lives, especially my Blitz grind. I didn't know these had that. And occasionally, I relapse and I play at work where there's no cameras, but I'm at the casino, so you could validate that I was on my break at work. And unless I'm sneaking in a real computer, and in a matter of 15 minutes, I have 20 minutes from the time I get tapped on the shoulder to the time I tap them on the shoulder. So it takes me like 3 minutes to get to the locker room, 3 minutes to get back. That leaves me with no more than 15 minutes to play chess. So I'd have to get my computer turned on. I'd have to log in. I guess I could have it already running in my locker. And then I would have to cheat at work while coworkers are usually walking in and out. They go, what is it? I would get reported for that. Dude's got a computer. He's on his phone. He's hitting the computer super fast. He looks like he's trying to hack something. Security would get called. So if I'm at work, that's the next best thing to actually being live recording. I'm not cheating at work. I've never cheated. I have never. Look, he's suspicious, and our evidence suggests that he's not been so honest in the past. Fuck you. I'm at work or I'm live streaming. If nothing else, there's plenty of me in here where no one's going to accuse me, because there's a really good chance I can pull up the stream and show you that game. I hate it came to this. How else can I say it? I don't speak no other languages. But I don't want to play any more bullet chess tonight. It's cooled off a little bit. I'm going to go get a quick lift in, walk my dog by the Missouri River, and tan for swimsuit season. Then I'm going to play poker. Terrible decision on my part. When I moved to St. Louis in 2022, it was kind of rushed. I was going through table games dealing school. I guess I had just completed it technically. I don't remember if I completed table games dealing school before signing a lease or if it was just going well, so I knew I was going to pass my audition. I was that confident. I probably didn't actually pull the trigger on the lease until I got my license, which would mean after the audition, of course. But in 2021, when I drove to see my friend in Baltimore after COVID, I went through St. Louis, then to Indianapolis. I was planning to stop in St. Louis to drop Nova off at daycare there. That way she could see me some on the ride. I don't like leaving my dog. I never would have got her if it weren't for COVID and having help plus a corporate job. But she's a good girl. And so I figured I'd take her to St. Louis. And then she would also be in the system in case I ever visited St. Louis. They would know her there too. I didn't at that time think I would move to St. Louis or have it in the back of my mind even. But they were still building Camp Bow. It wasn't quite ready yet. So I'm like, shoot, now I've got the dog. I almost called my friend to cancel because I didn't really trust other cities. But I found a Camp Bow in Indianapolis. So I stopped in Indianapolis, dropped her off, and went to Baltimore, which was a pretty good Camp Bow Wow. I think they're all pretty good. When I moved to St. Louis, all I knew was I trust that Camp Bow Wow. I knew their owner a little bit. His name's Dadion. I highly recommend it. They do a great job, especially for a big business. They're very personable. They know all the dogs. If they have new people, which is always turnover in that world, they get them up to speed quick. He's nice to them, but he doesn't take any crap. They all take care of the dogs very, very well. So I just got an apartment by that. And once I was moved in, like I knew where my casino and the casino by me are, but it didn't even register that I was moving within a walk of a casino. I've never had gambling problems. Because I was making pretty good money at a young age, but I gambled a lot. And then after COVID, I didn't have that job, and I was deprived of casinos. And I'm like, I'm going to gamble now. Actually, how I got the idea to be a table games dealer. I'm from Springfield, Missouri, so from Springfield, we had to go to the Oklahoma casinos right on the Missouri-Oklahoma border. It's called Quapaw, Oklahoma. There's two others. I don't know what city that is exactly. I guess one might be in Arkansas, Buffalo Run and Indigo Sky. They both might be in Oklahoma, actually. Yeah, probably. I think they're in Oklahoma. But you can go at age 18 there. So once COVID lockdown ended, I went. I talked to the dealers, and I think they mentioned some of them had left after COVID because the casinos closed temporarily. So they didn't have any dealers back. They were hiring dealers. I'm like, how much y'all make? And they make good money. Wow. And you have benefits? Yeah, it's a job. I know how gamblers are. They won't trust robots. So I was thinking about actually applying it downstream and just making that drive or even moving. I wouldn't live in Joplin, but I knew the Arkansas area well because I lived in Northwest Arkansas. I could even drive from Northwest Arkansas to there, just a little bit closer, like the Bella Vista side, where I lived on the Rogers side, which is more south. And that's a peaceful drive. I made it all the time to see my family when I was a kid interning and as an adult full-time. So I was kind of leaning towards that. But then when I kept getting into chess and realized I might want to go to St. Louis, it just made sense to be a table games dealer here. But I can walk to a casino. I don't always when I have the urge, but I always have the urge. I'm going to cave tonight, play some poker. Instead of the bullet chest grind I was planning on. I'm not good at poker, though it's an interesting time to be alive. And poker is a good example of why. So let's say Phil Ivey showed up. Of course, well, I mean, Phil Ivey would lose to pocket if someone got pocket aces every time, or however long they just kept getting ridiculous hands. He got awful hands. That's the difference in chess and poker. You can hang in there with luck for a little bit in poker. Over time, of course, even if you get super lucky, his skill and experience is gonna kill me. But in chess, the equivalent of Phil Ivey, let's say Magnus Carlsen or Hikaru Nakamura, there is a 0% chance of me ever winning a single game, even with luck. But amateurs are not Phil Ivey. And to my knowledge, I've never seen any professional poker players there. I doubt they would play such small blinds as when I play, which is sometimes as small as $1 and $2. So yeah, they're better than me. Yeah, they're probably reading some books. But they have jobs. They're not training all day. Many do it to kind of get a break from being a dad, not in a mean way, but it's just stressful. Go back home, they don't have a problem. And my point is, people who are that good, just pretty good amateurs, with all the publicly available information, books out there, apps, I could come back in a week, and I might not be near their level, but I'll be a different player. Size me up. He doesn't bluff well. I'm fucking crazy. You can look at all my content, and that's the downside of crazy people, why we're often not liked by stable people or corporate people. You're not going to read me because sometimes I don't know what my brain's doing. So think you figured me out. I wish you could. Please let me know who I am, what I stand for. What do I stand for most nights? I just want to play chess. But that is a frustrating reality for really good athletes in mentally focused sports. Someone could come back from being basically a beginner and have really improved in just a matter of a month. And I strictly play poker now that I gamble. I deal the games, so I just don't have the desire to play them. And over time, the casino has the edge. In poker, I think you pay a little bit to the dealer every hand, but if you beat the other flawed humans, you can win money. As opposed to the game, it's that odds. It's 48-ish% in blackjack. Carnival games are a little worse if you play perfectly. I might add some of the hands in standard table games. They're not comfortable from a human perspective to do. There are certain ace. I used to have the book completely memorized when I dealt in my old casino, but now I deal more carnival games, so I was so far removed I didn't feel the need to memorize every hand, but I, of course, have most of them memorized. And if you get a new player, that's smart. You can tell they're thinking, that doesn't make sense. I can't do that. I can't justify doing that. I'm like, you can lose money if you want. But who wrote the book? Vegas. I'm like, no, a robot did. The book is statistically correct because someone else could develop a competing, let's say, algorithm, and you don't want to be known as a liar, whether you're an organization or coach of any sort in gambling. So the book is correct. But just like in chess, some positions, yeah, the engine said to do that, but what human, even Magnus Carlsen, is going to make that move? It's just impossible to leave your king seemingly exposed. Look 30 moves deep, and you see that there's no danger if you play perfectly. But that's not realistic, and that's how you have to play against a dealer at a casino to have that percentage chance of winning, which is usually, I think, between 47.5 and 48.5, depending on the game. And Baccarat's the only exception. It's closer to 50. But most people don't do that. They don't double every time they should double, which gives the casino more power. So I would only play Baccarat or poker now that I'm doing it again. And Baccarat just bores the shit out of me. If I wanted to play Baccarat, or if I wanted to have a decent chance of winning money, I would go buy an S&P 500 index fund through Vanguard before I played Baccarat. It just looks boring. I've never dealt it intentionally. But I kind of get the gist. I know you're playing against the banker. I've watched it. I could figure it out quick, but it just looks miserable. I think it's because more financially, I hate to say wise, but conservative types of players play Baccarat. And conservative isn't fun. So if I want to be conservative, I'm not going to a casino. I'm going to a casino to gamble. And that means poker for me right now. Let's analyze my bullet victory. Six now. Yeah. See that? See, I'm not playing any good at all. Of course, it does kind of throw you off. Like I know I have the advantage now, but in bullet chess, I mean, the basics are be quick and don't lose material in the open. So when you give it to me immediately, I'm not even looking for it. At this level, you shouldn't do that. It still has a weakness. And then when you get the advantage, I'm just going fast. And again, you wouldn't expect a player at this level to suck so bad. But what it's saying is knight takes. So let's say here, I take, and I have a piece. And of course, you can't take with your queen, so that's what would have happened. I would have just forced you to either leave it and do something like there, but you can't even do that because my knight and bishop would work together. So you'd have to take it, and I'd take your knight, but not even looking for it at this stage. And then pre-automatic, trying to separate, or you're trying to add pressure to a pin piece, but my pin piece can move in a manner that defends the piece that will be exposed. So quick. Those are the little moves. It's easier to make now. I'm winning by a lot, but you got to see fast. Queen e4 was mate. Yeah, I guess so. Either way. Another side note, I don't think bullet chess is really a great pursuit. If you wanted to play bullet chess and then analyze them like I'm doing now, that can help your chess when you're newer. But in terms of trying to get good at bullet chess, I don't guess I would recommend it. One thing, though, in bullet chess, or if there's a time crunch of any sort, that might help until you get to good players, is keeping the knights defending each other, especially when you have an advantage. One less thing to think about, and it's one more thing for the opponent to think about. They protect each other and they control a lot. Yeah, important to note, if you're going to leave your back rank weak, make sure you have something to defend it aside from the queen. So go ahead and give me your rook, make it easier on me. I don't care. I assume you have to go here. No, you can't because then I'll mate. So yeah, you just give me your queen now. Or you can do it that way if you want. But I am victorious. Four in a row. And let's check on my competition. I'm still a lot better. Kiss his butt. Like I said, I have a table game dealing license. I don't need you. I don't want you. Stay out of my way, I'll stay out of yours. Taiwan Super Games. Oh. He's always online, man. It's a shame he didn't get into it when he was 30 or even 40. I think having a relevant career that trains similar parts of your brain could compensate for not playing until you're 40. What I mean, let's say a professional poker player played chess at 40 instead of like Negreanu when he was 50-ish or late 40s. That would be the equivalent of an equally intelligent person with no experience in a related field starting at 30. So I'm saying it would be just as good for a 40-year-old who has already trained the parts of his or her brain necessary for chess versus a 30-year-old who has never done anything related to chess. Yeah. Because he's just too old now, I think. That's got to be why he's not figuring it out. I'm interested in this. I don't know anything about her background. Wish I did. I'm interested in adults who never played, have a plan for improvement, and have access to a chess club / quality training. Dina Bella and Kaya seems to be taking this Emily Plays Chess, which her real name is Emily Higgins, under her wing. Dina's intense, but I don't know. I wouldn't say some coaches are better or worse than others, but there are some coaches that would be good for certain situations. And I don't know that Dina would be great for an adult beginner. All I know is what she portrays on social media, which this is all kind of a dramatized version of who we really are, if it's even us at all. I think in chess, you get more of the actual human being because it's hard to hide it while doing something that's very mentally difficult. Whereas playing a sport or doing comedy or just silly memes, vlogging, you could be a totally different person and it would never really shine through who you really are. But I don't know that Dina would be a good coach for someone like me or any adult who actually has potential. Dina's a little bit dominant. And she used to be a really good player. So it's sometimes hard for those people to relate to someone like me. They might be good with kids because automatically when you're an adult working with kids, it makes more sense if you are kind of dominant. And you have to help them along, even baby them sometimes, make sure they're doing their stuff. But for someone like me, who actually wants to be good at chess, I've got to figure it out on my own. As an adult, it's more understanding how your brain works and then applying that to chess. Whereas at a young age, you teach them chess, then they learn how their brain works. I already know how my brain works. I've already messed up. I've already done stupid things, asked stupid questions in the work world, proven to myself I can learn things. So a coach that would be good for me might have more of a passive personality. Possibly a really, really strong player who doesn't care. I don't believe talent is as essential as a lot of people believe it is. But a good coach for me would likely be someone who's super talented, like Nemo. This would actually be interesting. A personality like hers. Dina seems to like chess a lot more than Nemo. Nemo seems to have played chess because she was forced to play chess. And a lot of times she tries to make it really fun because she doesn't want others to feel so pressured like she did, even though it worked for her improvement as a kid. So someone like Nemo could take it or leave it. Yeah, chess is cool, but really, she's good at it. Nemo's doing some modeling, I think. So she's pretty. But most of the chess women, they don't want to just be known for their bodies. So it makes sense to get kind of dolled up and then make chess videos. They make a living, and they're not just being completely appreciated for only their looks. So if I got a chess lesson from someone like Nemo, she wouldn't care. Like, if I don't do my stuff, that's fine. I think it would eat someone like Dina alive if she realized I'm pretty smart, talk to me about, well, tech and systems, and you realize that there's a ton of carryover. And the way the brain works, I'm no expert or I don't have licenses or anything, but I've read a shit ton. A lot of the new research is suggesting when we train, especially in mental pursuits, it's not that we are pushing toward our fixed potential, aka talent. We are trying to expand what we can do. So in the past, it was thought that an individual has this much talent in, let's say, chess. Our job is to make sure he or she reaches it. And now a lot of the training is becoming geared toward expanding the potential, meaning almost anyone can learn almost anything. And therefore, experience, if not in chess, something related, would indicate a greater potential. And if I explain systems and how I take notes on some of my chess games, which is basically how I learn to analyze systems a lot of times, or bugs within them, someone like Dina would lick her chops thinking she could turn me into a player of her caliber. Now, of course, if she got back into it and tried to play at her best, she'd be better than I'll ever be, most likely. But where Dina is right now, if she talked to me, she would absolutely believe I could get there within a few, maybe 5 years, and I could do it faster than that. And then if I didn't do that, or if I took a break, or if she heard I was out partying, she would lose her shit because she likes chess a lot, and I'm wasting my potential and her opportunity to build a chess prodigy. Whereas Nemo would say, yeah, I almost quit chess. Don't burn yourself out. Here's some whiskey. And that would be a good coach for me. I don't want to coach, but I do want to be a chess master. So I've given myself until 2026 before I seriously return to online chess. I will not play any rated rapid games on chess.com. I'll probably play some blitz because if I do downward spiral, I can get it back quickly. In 2031 in blitz, my plan is to get my bullet over 2100. If and when I do that, I will go to blitz and I will get it over 2100, and then we'll see. But until 2026, it's all about over the board. And I can't miss a weekend. I can't be playing bullet chess all night, trying to recover my rapid rating without sleep. So we're going to take it slow. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is streaming bullet while resting in between and really reviewing it deeply. Could help beginners. And it's good for me to kind of get back on the swing of things after taking a break from OTB. And the only reason I'm returning for rapid online in 2026 is because I never intended to play over the board when I started. I assume most chess clubs were in Russia, and I just happened to have grown up nearish to St. Louis, Southwest Missouri, so the other end of the state, but within the same state. And it kind of made my decision for me. But all of my early games are online. And any adult who gets into chess late, I'm not talking kids that played, like Julia Schumer. I look at her profile because she took a long break and she's an adult. But at the end of the day, if she really got into it, and we had similar personalities and experiences, I mean, I don't know what she's done exactly or how smart she is. She seems smart. I think she would have a much, much higher ceiling because it's so important to have those patterns in your head as a kid. Even if you were no good, even if you were screwing around, but just did some puzzles or some books, it's so important to have some foundation as a kid. I'm not naive about it. But most adults won't have the time to go to a club or won't be fortunate to live in a major chess city where they can have access to good competitive over-the-board players. So I had to compare myself to MuchChess.com. Where were they at? at 5 months versus me. What ideas had they found worked? What bad habits had they developed but not realized because it's still winning them games? Did they find different ways to win games? Like Tyler One plays the cow. He's no good at chess, but he forces untrained opponents into territory they're not familiar with, and they have to commit pawns. You can't bring pawns back. That's why Tyler One's sucking now, because now the athletes aren't going to fall for stupid shit. It was dumb to kiss his butt. And when I return in early 2026, I think my rapid will get pretty close to 2,200. Stay tuned. Please challenge me via daily challenges on chess.com. I look forward to continuing my bullet grind very soon.